Hi everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Welcome to my vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture, from anime to television to novels to comic books, and, of course, to film, which will be the topic of today's discussion. Before I dive into it, though, I want to remind you I write novels. That's right. I've got this paranormal novel. This is the first novel I published. It is about a group of demons who try to take over a town, and the angels sent to stop them. And then I've got my fairy tale fantasy story, The Seven Royals. The third book is on its way. These are the first two in the trilogy, Seven Royals, All Good Things, and its sequel, Breaking the Stars. It is about a group of your favorite fairy tale characters who have to work together to stop an evil mage from conquering their land. All these books are available at Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. All right, so the Oscar nominations were released earlier today, and I just wanted to go through. I'm not going to go through every category. I'm just going to go over a few things. Now, I've been wrong in my Oscar predictions. I remember the year Call Me by Your Name came out. You know, the movie that approves of child exploitation. That film. I predicted that one would win. To my shock and pleasure, I did not. Was very happy to see that, and it's kind of interesting for me being a commentator, because I like to make predictions, but when it comes to the Oscars, they're more unpredictable. In some ways, so it's kind of interesting to see. I remember in my conversation with Tyler Hamel, we talked about what we thought about who was going to win, who was going to get nominated, and actually, to Tyler's credit, he was not far off. He did. He was actually pretty spot on. You can go back and watch that. I'm not going to rehash it here. I'm just going to go over and give my thoughts. So I'm going to start with one thing I'd like to notice is, of course, right off the bat, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever and the Batman both got the snub. And by the way, I didn't like Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I thought that it went way off of the source material. It wasn't even really a good, which, by the way, I liked the first Black Panther. I thought it was a really good movie. I just thought that Wakanda Forever was kind of a poor sequel to it. Kind of gave hypocritical messaging, and it felt a little bit like a patchwork. And of course, how they totally destroyed Namor, the king of Atlantis, and they tried to use him to push some sort of, social agenda. Absolutely ridiculous. That being said, I think it's interesting because it got all this hype, and then the Oscars, once again, don't even recognize it. And same with the Batman. The Batman was number 4 on my top 10 list. Both of these films got regulated to sort of the technical awards, so they can say, oh, we threw him a bone. Like, the Batman, why is that with best makeup and hairstyling? Everyone just kind of had normal makeup and hair. I mean, didn't make any sense. Now, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, okay, I can kind of see that. Again, with best visual effects, the Batman, Black Panther. For all my fellow nerds, just going forward, assume that these Hollywood elites, they mock you. I mean, James Gunn, Zack Snyder, Kevin Smith, they're not on your side. Kathleen Kennedy, especially, they don't give a crap about you. And they're in this space where nerds like me, I always joke that the best thing that happened to nerds was that nerddom got propelled into the mainstream. The worst thing that happened to nerddom was it got propelled into the mainstream. And, we see that now. They're never going to honor a movie as good as, say, The Dark Knight, which I think is probably one of the best superhero movies ever made. I mean, they didn't even give Spider-Man No Way Home a nod. It was released in December after Christmas, when it's not really, or excuse me, before Christmas. That's not exactly a well-known movie release month, and it still was the best film of the year. It grossed, and they regulated it to some best fan moment, which of course the Snyder fans immediately cheated and got the Snyder cut, even though it's probably one of the worst movies ever made, promoted. But anyway, neither here nor there. I'm going to start with best international feature film. All Quiet on the Western Front, And Argentina in 1985, Close, which is a Belgian film, EO, which is a Polish film, and The Quiet Girl, which is an Irish film. Okay, where's RRR? Like me and Tyler, we joked about it being getting a Best Picture nod. It should be on this list. No one saw EO. No one saw Close. No one saw The Quiet Girl. I heard Argentina 1985 is pretty good. I I didn't I didn't see it. This is the Academy Awards are supposed to be honoring movies that appeal to American audiences. It's American filmmakers. So why isn't RRR on this list? That's ridiculous. Now, I am happy All Quiet on the Western Front is on here because, again, it was in my top 10 list. So, I'll get off my soapbox about that. Okay, Best Animated Feature Film. Now, last year was kind of a weird year for animation, but we have Pinocchio, not the Disney Plus remake, the one by Guillermo del Toro. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which was not an animated film. It had, I guess, a CGI shell, but it's not an animated film. The rest of the cast is live action. Puss in Boots: Last Wish. I haven't seen that, but I've heard it's pretty good. The Sea Beast and Turning Red. That movie was a disaster on Disney Plus and at the box office. But you got to throw Disney a bone, right? Disney pays for most of this. I mean, the Oscars are on ABC, right? Why isn't Belle or Jujutsu Kaisen 0 on this list? Why is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which isn't even an animated film? It's a combo. It has an animated character, but it's not an animated film. Why is that film on here? Golly, Hollywood, you are so out of touch with your own industry. Okay, so Best Adapted Screenplay, All Quiet on the Western Front. Again, very happy about that. Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. Rian Johnson, one of the hacks in Hollywood. He has to copy Clue. He can't just make his own original stuff. He has to copy Clue and also destroy a fan favorite franchise while he's at it. Living, which is based on Akira, I guess. Top Gun Maverick, awesome. That was my favorite film of the year. And Women Talking. I've not seen that movie, so I don't know anything about it. Best Original Screenplay, The Banshees of Inisherin. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. The Fabelmans. Haven't seen Fabelmans. Tar. Triangle of Sadness. I've not seen... the only one I've seen on that list is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It should win. Not because it's the only one I've seen, but because it's a really good movie. Best Supporting Actress. Oh, okay, so Wakanda Forever is a little higher up here. Angela Bassett? Okay, she played the Queen. Why isn't Letitia Wright on here? I guess maybe she's the main character. Maybe that's why. Hong Chau from The Well. Carrie Condon, Banshees. Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Okay, I can see that, yeah. Stephanie Housso, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I can see that one as well, for sure. Best Supporting Actor. Brendan Gleeson, The Banshees of Inisherin. Brian Tyree Henry, Causeway, didn't see it. Judd Hirsch, The Fabelmans, didn't see it. Barry Keoghan, he plays the Joker in the Batman too, I think. Right? Is that him? I could be wrong. Hang on. Oh yeah, that's him. Okay. The Banshees. Ki Hu Kwan, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. He should win. Definitely, he should win. Best Actress, Cate Blanchett, Tar. Did not see it, but everyone who has told me it's good. Anna de Armas for Blonde, for playing Marilyn Monroe. Just didn't look interesting to me. Andrea Riseborough to Leslie. Michelle Williams, The Fabelmans. She's already gotten her Oscar. She's not going to win another one. Michelle Yeoh, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Okay, out of all of these, Michelle Yeoh should win. She won at the Golden Globes, so it's possible, but she should definitely win. All right, Austin Butler for Elvis. He played Elvis in the film, and he was a good actor. I'm a little confused because I don't think Elvis should be nominated because it wasn't really about Elvis. It was about the Colonel. I always say this is my big problem with the movie. Colonel is the first character you see. He's the last character you see. It's the closing historical captions. It's the last one's about him, and he narrates the movie. So, I don't know why Austin Butler is on here. Tom technically speaking, Tom Hanks should do it. I know people have problem with his performance. I've seen the Colonel be interviewed. To me, Tom Hanks portrayed him well, but maybe he should have been better. I don't know. Colin Farrell, The Banshees of Inisherin. Been a lot of Irish stuff this year. Brendan Fraser for The Well. Now, Paul Mescal for After Sun, Bill Nighy for Living. I have not seen The Well, but I would love for Brendan Fraser to win. That way, all these people who sat back and did nothing while this man was blacklisted because he made an accusation about the it was the Golden Globes. Someone on the board who was over the Golden Globes or whatever. This crowd sat back and did nothing. Brendan Fraser did nothing wrong. Yes, he made an accusation. Yes, it should have been investigated. I'm not saying that this guy should have immediately been drawn and quartered or whatever. It should have been investigated nonetheless. But no, this industry blacklisted him just like it did to Johnny Depp and Corey Feldman and Kaya Jones and Stacey Dash, and did nothing. This man deserves to win, even if The Whale is as bad as a Zack Snyder film. He should win that Oscar for that reason alone. And you know what? Forget Austin Butler. All right. So now we're at Best Director. All right, the Daniel brothers, they're not actually brothers, but Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schneidert for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Todd Field for Tar. Martin McDonough for The Banshees of the Banshees. Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness. Boy, doesn't that sound like a bundle of joy. Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans. I have a sinking suspicion Spielberg is going to win. Just because he's the safe choice. Audiences know his name, and even though he hasn't really done anything that substantial in many years, he's just the safe choice. All right, so now we're to Best Picture. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. All right, so I'm actually kind of happy because normally my top 10 is way off from the Best Picture. Like maybe there's one matching, but actually All Quiet on the Western Front, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Top Gun Maverick. Those were my top 3 films of the year for last year. So I'm actually kind of happy. I guess that means that the Academy is catching up to me. I joked about that on social media, LOL. But I know no one says LOL. Okay, just cut me some slack. I'm a child of the 90s. Anyway, I'm really enjoying seeing this because normally, like I say, I have like a 1 in 10 chance usually, sometimes even a 0 in 10 chance. But this time I've got a 3 in 10 chance of one of my picks being the Best Picture. That would be hysterical. Oh my gosh, I would love that so much. All of these other movies, like, okay, Avatar: The Way of Water, it's making money because James Cameron, has deals with all these, communist countries. They march out audience people at gunpoint. They go of their own free will, obviously. His movie still didn't really do that good domestically. It was a bigger hit internationally, as most of James Cameron's more recent films are. I'm glad that the sequel to his Fern Gully remake is doing good, I guess. I've heard some people say that the story's not bad. It's just kind of long and boring. Sounds like the first Avatar. But All Quiet on the Western Front, anti-war film. I don't know how the Academy is going to give this film an award because All Quiet on the Western Front is one of my favorite novels. It's frequently been made into a film. It's very anti-war, and with so many celebrities, making a big deal about what's going on in Europe right now, I don't know how they can justify giving it to this film. I mean, if they do, I will be happy. Like I said, it's one of my top 3 films from last year. I will definitely be happy. The Banshees of Inisherin, I don't think anyone saw this movie who wasn't in sort of the bubble of Hollywood, right? So The Banshees, I don't even know what it's about, and I don't even think I saw a trailer for it. Elvis, again, it just goes back to, are people willing to look past Tom Hanks' performance as the Colonel, the fact that the movie really isn't about Elvis, to win? I don't think that's going to happen. Everything, everywhere, all at once. See, that movie is kind of a movie that Hollywood would hate, because it teaches us that the choices we make have consequences, no matter where we go, who it affects, and or who it might be too. There's a ripple effect in the decisions that we make. And that's something Hollywood doesn't like. They don't like consequences to your actions, whether for good or for ill. They want everything to be awesome right off the bat. And so just because the message of the movie is so positive, I just can't see it, getting past the nomination. I think it's going to get snubbed. The Fablemans, like I said, me and Tyler talked about this. Steven Spielberg is a safe bet. He's already won several Oscars, so it might make the normies go, "Oh yeah, Steven Spielberg. Of course he's gonna. Of course, Steven Spielberg. Yeah, this makes total sense." But I think now they're kind of waking up to him, because, like I said, there was this big thing when Steven Spielberg, a couple of years ago, he kind of made fun of Netflix films. He was, trashing them, saying they shouldn't get nominations for awards and things like that. And then he went out and shilled for his buddy Bob Iger for Disney Plus, right? I think people saw that and saw what a hypocrite he was. So I don't think he's as, and he didn't direct the last Jurassic Park trilogy, right? So, Jurassic World, I think he was just kind of the producers of those films. So, he's not going back to a film that kind of made him, going back to Jaws, he was always kind of popular in the mainstream audience's mind, but, not lately. And I think him having a bigger role in Jurassic World probably would have helped him, and it probably would have made those movies better, just in my opinion, because I genuinely believe Steven Spielberg is talented. I think he kind of got into this rut where he didn't just want to be the blockbuster director, right? He wants to be someone who does films that have meaning. But I'm of the opinion that blockbuster films like, say, Iron Man or Jurassic Park, if we want to keep with Steven Spielberg, I'm of the opinion that they can have a deeper meaning. I don't like to go too deep with stuff. You know me, I'm more of a person, just let things say what it says. Don't try to make a snooze fest out of philosophizing a film. But I could kind of see him getting that pick, and people be going, "Oh yeah, okay, I guess." So, Tar, this film, I haven't seen it. Cate Blanchett is a fantastic actress, though, so I could kind of see it maybe getting her carrying it over that threshold. And, this might be a big thing. So I know now all of us, now the new thing today was, all the weirdos are on social media are trying to get Oscar so male trending. Yeah, because having 3 female hosts last year worked out so well for you, right? The ratings were in the toilet until Will Smith and Chris Rock did their slapping, routine. It was, yes, that was staged. Anyway, so I could kind of see it now. Triangle of Sadness, again, supposedly it's supposed to be like a satire film. Again, I didn't even see a trailer for it. My fellow Christian Toto, who is the head critic at HollywoodandToto.com, he also hosts a podcast, and I think he's going to be hosting a radio show soon. He really liked the film, so I could be wrong. I haven't seen the film, so I can't make a comment on it as a movie, but just as a spectator, I'm kind of like, yeah, but I didn't even see any media for it, any hype for it. So, Women Talking. Now, I wanted to see this movie. It's one of those movies where I did see the trailer for it. I thought it looked good. I thought it had an important story to tell, but I just never got around to it. I remember Seth Meyers made a comment about Oscar bait in one of his skits where he said something like, Oscar bait films are the movies everyone tells you you should see, but you never get quite around to it. That's how this film was for me. Like I said, I think the story that it's trying to tell looked like one that needed to be brought to the forefront of people's minds because it deals a lot with abuse and stuff. So I don't have a problem with it. If it wins, great. I think it to me it seems like people appreciated it more than she said. So now Top Gun Maverick. So this was my favorite movie of 2022, hands down. I think it is the best film of 2022. No ifs, ands, or buts. And it was really what the Star Wars sequel trilogy should have been. It was Maverick was what Luke Skywalker should have been in this movie, and I really appreciate it. My Top Gun has a special place in my heart because my dad actually got it on Blu-ray when it first came out, and he and I had like a Father Sunday where I think we got wings and we watched it together, and it's just a really fantastic film. And then this one, it builds off the success of the first film. It has all kinds of nostalgia references to the first film, but it doesn't rely on that. So it pays homage to the original while also building off its success. It introduces us to some new characters while honoring the old ones. And I think that that is something special. It's something that's lacking in sort of today's world, especially in the entertainment industry. So go read my review for it. It's on my website, StudioJakeMedia.com. But I think it does deserve to win. Here's why I don't think it will win. I don't think it'll win because of because it captures that sort of balance of we're going to honor the past, but we're not going to forget it, but we're going to still advance, we're going to still move forward. It's got a positive outlook about humanity, none of that nihilism nonsense. It's a good story with a lot of heart, and it has heart. This is one thing I mentioned in my Velma review is I don't think Hollywood these days have a lot of heart. They just don't. So whenever I think about a movie that has heart, I think that it comes down to what direction Hollywood is going to go. You see those memes where they'll compare something and it'll say which way Western Man. And I honestly think when I look at this list, I have to admit some of these ones on here I weren't expecting. I'm a little surprised The Well's not on here. They did 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, if Nicolas Cage can do the entire alphabet, you can listen to me count to 10. But anyway, so it's the full deck of 10. Now, I heard a commentator one time say, I think it was Andrew Clavin actually, who said that the Oscars kind of went bad when they increased the number of Best Picture noms from 5 to 10. And they don't always do 10. They do 8 sometimes. Sometimes they do 7. One year they did 9. I think that was the year The Disaster Artist came out. That was supposed to win, but then James Franco's the allegation, he got Me Too'd, and so that kind of destroyed hope for that movie. But I think honestly, when we're looking at something like this, when we're looking at the Best Picture, something that people used to look up to, people were anticipating for it. And now it's kind of like a lot of these are who cares. Like audiences really loved All Quiet on the Western Front. They really loved Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun Maverick even. But let's be real, no one really expects those 3 films to win. They're the best films on this list, and they're not going to win. Like I said, I hate to speculate because I've been wrong 3 years in a row. If I was to guess, I'm going to go out and say, I'm going to give myself a handicap. I'm going to say either Women Talking are going to win or the Fabelmans. But I could be wrong. It's very possible another one is, and just going back, like you can just see how movies are put on, but it's like they gave a nod to Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, but not for Letitia Wright, and we all know the reason for that. Besides the Hollywood elite, they're incredibly racist. We all know this, but also it's because she took a stand against the forced restraints that were put on people. She took a stand against them. She held to her beliefs, and she was called the most vile, horrible things online. I know because I debated some people. That's actually the reason I wanted to support the movie was, and I was honest with my review. I didn't just give it a good review because of that, but I wanted to support the movie because she bucked the system, because she took a stand, because she was a rebel against the restrictions. And so good for her for doing that. I hope that, and just the fact that Angela Bassett, who, just the fact that she gets a nod, but Letitia Wright gets snubbed. And like I said, I was kind of thought the film was mediocre. A lot of people were saying it was just dropped down bad. I don't agree with that. I thought it was mediocre. I thought it was incredibly, of course, the way they portrayed Namor, it was definitely more woke and pandered to a certain political crowd that doesn't actually see these movies and certainly doesn't read Marvel comics. But and going back to RRR, that movie, this is another way you can see just how much Hollywood hates the audience. Now, like I said, I think All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, I think those movies the audiences did care about, but no one cared about Close or EO or The Quiet Girl, which I'm wondering if it's a play off The Quiet Man with John Wayne, but being Irish films. But like RRR was one that it was a smash in Asia and it was a smash in the United States. There is no reason that movie should not be on here. But no, it's totally snubbed. Now it did get a nomination for Natu Natu in Best Original Song, but again, come on. There's no reason it should not be on Best International Feature Film. Now, up against All Quiet on the Western Front, I think that one should win, but RRR should be on here. This is a complete slap in the face to the audiences, saying, "Yeah, you like that thing? Well, let me show you," because that's what Hollywood does best. They love to slap the audience. Anyway. What do you think? I'd love to know what you think. Which film do you think is going to be Best Picture, or who do you think is going to win what award? I would love for you to know. Please leave me a comment. I would really like to hear what you have to say about it. And I look forward. I hope you're looking forward to every year now. I do an Oscar stream. Let me know what guest you would like to have back. Last year I had some incredible guests. And let me know if you'd like me to have them back, or if you would like someone else to come on and join me for the Oscars live stream. I would really appreciate your input. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, that you'll leave me a comment and tell me what you think, that you'll share it out with your friends, and of course, consider subscribing to StudioJake. I cover all kinds of nerd and pop culture topics, including film, television, anime, comic books, and so much more. I hope that you'll also head over to my main website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I have even more news, views, and commentary. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, head over to my locals page. That's studiojakemedia.locals.com. It's the best way to support me. I'm trying to build a little community there. I have exclusive reviews and articles, so definitely head over there and check it out. And I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.